Hello everybody, my name is Rodríguez Diéguez and I am a predoctoral researcher at the University of Vigo, and today I am presenting my dissertation in the 2024 Graduate Day. Here you can see the contents of our talk today, and that's all. Let's get started. So the dissertation title is Beyond Vulnerability and Precarity: Transatlantic Mobilities in 21st Century African Diasporic Fiction, and it is part of the project Communitas Immunitas: Relational Ontologies in Atlantic Anglophone Cultures of the 21st Century. The general aim of this PhD dissertation is to analyze patterns of precarity and vulnerability in a selected corpus of African novels in English which deal with transatlantic mobilities. But not only that, apart from studying vulnerability and precarity, I will also examine different forms of mobility, especially those depicted in texts coming from the Black African diaspora in the Atlantic Anglophone world. I will also analyze the representation of gender and its gender discourses, with the roles, attitudes, expectations, values and beliefs that are present in the texts. Then I will study any strategy of resistance and survival depicted in contexts of vulnerability. And last but not least, I will try to identify potential proposals or examples of alternative existences in contexts of racism. So the corpus under study is composed of 9 novels and 1 short story collection. Their authors come from very different backgrounds, very different countries in Africa, and they are somehow related to this experience of Afropolitanism, of mobility in the 21st century. And in their texts, they portray the movement of people from these African countries towards the Western nations of the Atlantic English-speaking world. So here you can see all the names, and maybe you can find something familiar because some of them are really well known. For example, Americana or Freshwater. They are really well known and they are quite recent. I mean, all of them are recent since they are supposed to represent the 21st century. In order to analyze these texts, I have decided to use theoretical reflections upon concepts such as mobility and community, or vulnerability and precarity, and masculinity and girlhood. And to that end, I am using different techniques and different theories from different fields. So we could argue that the methodological tools belong to interdisciplinary studies, including feminist, trans and queer studies, girlhood and masculinity studies, decolonial theories, critical race theory, and indigenous and postcolonial studies. For instance, to analyze gender, I'm focusing on masculinities and men, but also on womanhood and femininity, or in the so-called concept of girlhood, which would be something like the female coming of age. And to analyze other social aspects such as the formation of communities abroad or the status of immigrants, I would use concepts that can be applied to diaspora studies, concepts of Afropolitanism or of African migration in the 21st century. For that reason, I have thought that it would be interesting and useful to do some research stays abroad at centers and institutions which are specialized in the aforementioned disciplines. So, for example, I could benefit from staying at the University of Leeds to do research related to post-colonial literature and diaspora. But I could also learn a lot of things related to gender, feminism, and sexualities at University College Dublin. And now a little bit of fantasy. So the expected outcome is to finish the dissertation on time as scheduled, and that would mean to have presented the Viva before 2027. Ideally, it would be possible to see the dissertation published as a monograph, and also as the result of all the study and all the different approaches to the texts, we could be talking about several articles published in highly ranked academic journals, as well as some book chapters. And that's all. Thank you very much for your attention, and I hope you're enjoying the day.